Welcome back to Connections Through Faith. It's that time of the week where I get to sit down and share with you some things that I've learned over this week and on this journey that will hopefully give you insight, give you a way to look at things a little differently here and there, especially this week. This week, I want to cover a subject that I think is important to everybody seeking, every Christian, everybody who's walking the path. We want to cover faith, trust, and doubt. A lot of people probably think that, well, how can I be a true Christian if I have doubt? But I want to tell you, don't think that. Stick with me. I'm going to share some things with you that are going to dispel that rumor, myth, whatever it is you want to call it. If you ask me, in my humble opinion, doubt is not an essential part, but it's something you're going to have, and it's something you have to deal with. So let's get into it. Let's start with faith. What I'd started with was a quick word search on one of my Bible study apps. And faith appears in the Bible 259 times. Now that is in the NIV version. Different versions may have different numbers, but that's the one I went with because that's the one I read from. The definition of faith I want to read to you from the Bible. It's Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. I'm going to put it on the screen for you. So here we go. Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. That kind of makes a lot of sense. You have to have faith to even start to believe in something. You have to have a faith that it's going to be there, that is true, because you've never seen it. I liken it to a relationship. Let's say you decide to go out with a young lady, young man for the first time. It's your first date. You have faith that the person will show up and that they're going to be a decent person, that they're going to interact with you on this encounter, that it's going to be a pleasant experience. You have a hope, but there's also a faith when you step out on that date. If you read the rest of Hebrews chapter 11, you will get a lot of examples of faith in the Bible. It's an amazing read. It's short. You have time. But I'm going to let you do that on your own. Hebrews 11 verse 8 is one of those. I want to read that to you. I'm going to put it on your screen for you. Hebrews 11 verse 8 says, "By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going." So he felt the calling, and by faith he followed the call. He left on his journey, not knowing where the journey would take him. Just like myself, when I felt the call, I stepped out on faith. I knew where I was going, I knew where I was supposed to meet, but I had no clue what I was going to find that day. I would like to go just a step further, that faith requires action. Maybe not all the time, but a lot of it. You have to step out in faith in the example I gave you with going on a first date. I had to step out in faith, hoping what I thought would be there would be there. We've all heard the term leap of faith. Leap is an action. And you take that jump in the faith that that leap is not going to hurt you. So keep that in mind as we go along. And I'm going to use this example of this relationship as we continue. So let's move on to trust. Now, trust, the definition that I found, roughly, security and confidence. Well, how do you build confidence in something? How do you feel secure in something? How can I feel secure if I don't know? Well, I have to step out on faith and be shown. So let's go back to that relationship. Let's go back to that first date. You go on the first date in the faith and hope that things will go well. Let's say things go well. You decide to have a second date. You go on second and subsequent dates. Over time, having experiences with this person, you build a confidence. You build a security. You build trust. Relationships are built on trust. They're started out of faith. They're built on trust. As your trust increases, your faith greatly increases. That's the same as it is with God. Trust and faith are built in a relationship. You step out on faith. You build trust and confidence in that relationship as it is exposed to you. It's no different. So I know what you're thinking. Where does doubt come in? How can I step out on faith if I have doubt? How can I build trust and confidence if I have doubt? What is doubt? Definition of doubt in all forms is uncertainty or lack of conviction. Another word for it is skepticism. I'm not sure I believe. I'm not sure that what I read in the Bible is actually telling me what I think it means. I'm skeptical of the promises made. I'm skeptical of God. But I'm going to put it to you this way. God wants you as you are. He calls you as you are. He calls you with your lack of faith. He calls you with your lack of trust. He calls you from your doubt. Let's go back to that relationship, or the relationship we're not talking about now. The date that you had with the young man or woman. You've gone out several times. You stepped out on faith. You've built some trust. You have some confidence. And then somebody comes to you and says that that person was seen out on another date and they didn't tell you. What do you have now? You've got doubt. At that point, you have a choice. Forget that person. I'm done with them. I don't believe anymore. I don't believe that they have my best interest at heart. But maybe you have built enough faith and confidence over time that you will go ask that person instead of just make a snap judgment. That you will go sit down with them and you will say, hey, here's what I've heard. Can you tell me what's going on? Maybe that person is honest and says, you know what, I didn't have the confidence in you. I went and checked my options somewhere else. Maybe they didn't. And you leave that relationship. Maybe you sit down with that person and they tell you, that's absolutely not true. I would never do that to you. Here's where I was. Here's what I was doing. Here's the people I was with. Check within you. Your doubt at that point, if that's the situation, your doubt at that point, dust in the wind. With that, your faith and your trust increase. So if you think about that situation, you went from a large amount of faith and trust with almost no doubt to a lot of doubt, dwindling faith and trust, and you asked a question. That question increased your faith and confidence and trust again and lessened your doubt. So with God, if you look at doubt as an invitation to a deeper relationship, that's how it works. He calls you out of the midst of wherever you are, whatever situation you're in, no matter how much doubt you have. The one thing I want you to realize is that in your relationship with God, I'm going to read it to you straight from the Word. It's in Numbers chapter 23, verse 19. I'll put it on the screen for you. God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should change his mind. So when you go to God with your doubt, with your questions, you're going to get an answer. And you can trust and have confidence and faith that that answer is going to be the truth. It's pretty much that easy. And then if you think that if I go to God with my doubt, he's going to say, oh my goodness, you're so bad. You're not one of mine. Let me throw some examples of doubt at you. And I got this from a sermon by Pastor Craig at Life Church. It's just an amazing example. So I'm going to read them to you. I took a picture off a screenshot off his sermon so I could share. So I'm going to give you some scriptures to look up. You can do this on your own. I'm not going to put them all out there. Peter doubted, and Jesus rescued him. Go to Matthew 14:31. Thomas doubted, and Jesus gave him proof. John 20:27. The disciples doubted, and Jesus sent them anyway. Matthew 28:17-19. John the Baptist doubted, and Jesus reassured him. Matthew 11:4-5. Martha doubted, and Jesus reminded her of his power. John 11:21-25. The father of the demon-possessed boy doubted, and Jesus strengthened his faith. I cut off the verse on that one, but you can look it up with some kind of word search. I want to talk about the one where Peter doubted. Jesus was coming, walking on the water, out to the boat that was in the midst of the storm. And Peter said to him, Lord, if it's you, call me to you. The Lord said, come. So Peter stepped out of the boat on faith, started walking on water. And then the doubt hit him because he looked at the wind and the rain and the storm. He looked away from God and he doubted and he started to sink. Jesus looked at him and said, why do you doubt? And he reached his hand out in his doubt and picked him up. So why do you feel your doubt should keep you from God? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Don't let it. Don't let it. Take it to him. I listen to a different style of music today than I used to. And a lot of the things that, a lot of the lyrics that stick with me are about being broken, having dirty hands, having doubt. And they all say, he'll take me as I am. He called me in my brokenness. He called me with my dirty hands. He called me with my doubt. And I took one step of faith, and now I'm talking to you. If that's not God's providence, God's calling, I can't say I don't know what it is because I know exactly what it is. So, faith, trust, and doubt. You can step out with very little faith. You can step out with no confidence, with no trust, and you can step out with a boatload of doubt. And he'll show you how to get there. To finish out this week, I just want to share a couple of things that I've written down over studying this lesson that I want to share. This is what I want to leave you with. Doubts. Not if, but when. They're going to happen. No matter where you are on your walk. Doubt, in whatever form, whether it's just a question about something in the Bible or a larger doubt that you need addressed. It's going to happen. Real faith does not deny doubt. That's in, I'm going to say it wrong, Habakkuk. I think is how you pronounce the book. I don't know the verse, but I know you can read through there, and it's going to give you that lesson that real faith does not deny doubt. I think we've given a lot of examples of doubters in the Bible who Jesus said, here's how we move forward. Real faith starts with being honest about doubt. Because if you're not honest about it, you may never find the answer. That's it for this week. As always, if this message is doing you some good, hit the like, subscribe, share, whatever. The algorithm likes it, and it helps push this message out to other people. If you have a question, email me. My email's down below, and I'll do my best to try and find the answer. Because like I said last week, if you have a question, I may have that same question right now, or it's a question that's going to come up later. So you're not bothering me. You're only helping me. Leave a comment down below. I have learned to answer comments. I don't get that many yet, so I have time to do it. So comment, ask a question, share it. Use this information. Don't let doubt keep you from God. If you're feeling those emotions, that's Him speaking to you. If you're out in the world, just know that the world is not going the right way. So if you don't feel like you fit in, maybe you are going the right way. Keep looking, keep searching, keep the walk. I'll see you next Friday.